Hello, you are listening to Just Films and That. This is the podcast where we celebrate films we think deserve a little bit more love, whether they're underrated or underseen. We're going to tackle them one film at a time. I'm Josh Hallam, and I'm joined as ever by my wonderful co-host, Jamie. Jamie to his friends, Allerton. How you doing, Jamie? Okay?
Josh, I'm good. I'm loving life.
You loving it?
I know that we now put these out as videos as well.
Yeah.
So we've already said this, I will never, ever put a lampshade on my weird,
Never.
torturous living room.
And when someone eventually zooms in on one of those Post-it notes and see the hate speech that you put on your flat walls.
It just says, get train to London.
Anyway, speaking of bleak Post-it note walls.
Nice.
No, we are talking about Set It Up from 2018. So spoiler warning if you haven't seen it. Before we get started, if you could head on over to whatever app or website or whatever you're listening to this on, if it's available, if you could give us a great rating and review, it helps other people find us and helps other people listen to what we think about films like Set It Up from 2018, starring Glenn Powell and Zoe. I've never said her name out loud before. I think Deutsch or Dutch.
Dutch. If you do it where you don't say it properly, so you're just like, so it's...
Yeah. Anyway, the best way to think of her is she's Marty McFly's mum's daughter. All right,
Yeah.
that's who she is. Because she looks exactly like her, and it was quite distracting throughout the whole film. Anyway, Jamie, you picked this one, so tell the people at home, what is Set It Up about, and why did you pick it?
So I stumbled across this late night. I think I was trying to get to sleep, and I was like, "Oh, Glenn Powell, I quite like him." And it's a rom-com about two big Manhattan assistants, and they show they have similar lives of just constantly working around their boss to be ambitious and one day kind of jump up the chain. They're both mistreated, and they realize that if they get their bosses to date, they'll have more time on their hands because their bosses will work less. And they'll have less time to focus on bullying them and being mean to them. With as you say, the beautiful Glenn Powell and Zoe.
Zoe, let's say Dutch. Let's settle on Dutch.
Well, also a great term from Taye Diggs and Lucy Liu as well.
Greg, yeah, as the bosses.
Yeah.
And they were the two characters you sort of felt the most affinity with, weren't you? The two bosses who torture people.
Yeah. Just because, like Taye Diggs, I can't wait to be engaged and cheat on my missus at the same time. And tell everyone about it. If I ever do cheat on my fiance who works in the same building as me, I'll have my office wide open while I'm on the phone to my ex-wife talking about going around having sex with her that night.
Indeed. And much like Lucy Liu, I sleep in what appears to be a cot in my office. In my office. So is it underrated? Is it underseen? Is it both? What are we thinking?
I don't think it's underrated because it's done quite well, but I do think it's underseen. Because had you heard of this when I told you about it?
No. It's got. Not that the title doesn't make sense or the title is an issue, but it is just quite a generic sounding title, and it's got quite a generic looking poster and banner heading. So I hadn't heard of it, hadn't seen it. Like I say, quite generic sounding, but it wasn't. Well, it was generic in its content, but not in a bad way, because I really enjoyed this.
Oh, good. Yeah, I mean, I've got it in my dislikes that the name is terrible, and
the name makes sense, but it's just like you would just skip past that.
Yeah, it's just say up. It's like naming a rom-com like Let's Have Sex. You know?
Yes.
What's the plan?
Airports run at the end.
LA Prosy. Okay, let's go.
But no, I really, really enjoyed it then. So we're saying it's underseen. We think it's fairly appropriately rated, which is difficult.
Yeah.
So is this a Netflix-only film, or is it going to get a theatrical release?
That's the problem with kind of with our metrics. Yeah, it's Netflix only, but I think we can still in the modern age start to look at what is a Netflix hit and what isn't. We know that K-pop Demon Hunters has been massive, but no one's really spoken about this, even though I think it's done okay on streaming. It's done quite well, but Netflix never really,
But they don't
shout.
They still go on about how everyone in the world has seen Red Notice 5 times.
Oh God, yeah, with that character.
I've seen it 10 times, but
The Rock's character Greg Red.
And then and Ryan Reynolds is in it and Gal Gadot's in it, and they're there, aren't they? And there's a plot and stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're not talking about Red Notice. We're talking about Set It Up. So let's get into Let's get into the likes and dislikes then. So if you've not listened before, if you're a big Set It Up fan and you want to know what you think of it, the structure is we start with what we like about it, we move on to the dislikes, then we have a little look at the critical reception, box office, or otherwise, and try and figure out, is it underrated, is it underseen, is it the reason we picked? So, likes then, Jamie, do you want to go first? Shall I jump in? What do you reckon?
Do you know, I'll let you go first. You seem excited. You seem ready
Yeah.
to talk.
I'm just excited to speak to you.
If you pop your top back on and we'll go.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go first then. So overall, really liked it. I thought it was pretty light, breezy. It's pretty funny. A lot of rom-coms, I think the issue with a lot of rom-coms is they either go really heavy on the rom or heavy on the com. This gets the balance pretty right, I think. And I think for me, you got to go more com than rom. I think if you want that broader appeal, I think it's got to be more funny than it is romantic. I think if you go more romantic than it is funny, you run the risk of either isolating certain parts of the audience or just not being enough to quite meet what you expect from a rom-com. I thought the script was great. I thought it was really quite like razor sharp. Like there's not really a moment wasted in terms of the dialogue, and the characterization of them is really good as well. So it is unquestionably for me really quite funny. Like some really good jokes in there about even it's quite sort of heavy early on in the jokes because there's a lot of really good jokes in the exposition of the unreasonable things that they get asked to do and things like that. And it starts with a sort of montage to the point where you think, oh, is this going to be about all of these personal assistants? Especially because I think a couple of the people who play the assistants have gone on to be quite famous. Like is Stephanie Sue is one of them who was in Everything Everywhere All at Once, and another chap is in there. Anyway, by the by, the point is it starts off with some really good jokes about unreasonable requests. It does use that genre sort of stereotype pretty well without it falling into being cliched. And I think it's pretty heartwarming too. So that's sort of the script for me. I'll move on to the acting in a moment. What did you think of the script?
Yeah, I mean, I wrote that there's kind of Seinfeld levels of it. It was hard to describe, but life things where people have just taken a look at stuff that happens in life. And like I'd never heard about the over dick around before, which I thought was genius, and a callback that I didn't see coming of. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it, but they explain that sometimes you're like, oh, I've got hours and hours to do that, so I'll go look at this first, and then you've been messing around too much, and that's the over dick around. Yeah. And at first you think it's just a cutesy thing that he's having a go at her for, but at the end it comes back as like a really great out of nowhere callback.
Yeah. And it's like that idea, isn't it? About the train's at 4:00, it's 1:00 now. I'll tell you what, I'll go to the cinema. You're like, oh shit, I didn't realize the cinema was going to be 3 hours, not 2. And now I'm like...
And it's like, it's really like modern and like, I'd say, what is it? Like a post, I don't want to say post-ironic because then I'll sound like a massive bellend, but...
It's not, but you can definitely see the shades of a lot of the great rom-coms in there, whether it's Harry Met Sally, but equally, I think you can see that thing of that films like Bridesmaids have done really well, which is like you take a core couple of characters, you characterize them really well, and then you surround them with memorable supporting actors.
And they also seem to, it's almost like they know they're in a film. Like they talk about, are we surrounding this or are we parent trapping this? And there's a bit when they're at the rooftop engagement party where it goes, it's like a proper old cliche of the couple who are having a light dance because it's fast beat music and they don't know that they have like an attraction yet. And the song turns to a slow song and you're like, oh, hello. And they actually call it out and he goes, come on, don't make it weird. Yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, because they know they're in that scene.
Like you say, it's quite meta. It's almost self-aware in that sense. And I think that's that can be overdone. A little bit of that goes a long way. You know, I think if you look at some people's irritations with things like even something like Deadpool, it's like it goes a long way. Whereas in this, they use it sparingly, but they use it pretty well. I thought the acting was really good as well. Like I don't think I've seen a film with Glenn Powell in it that I haven't liked yet. I think I've probably only seen about 5 or 6 Glenn Powell films, but I thought Hitman was a real sleeper hit last year. Really, really enjoyed that. Top Gun's great. Anyone But You, I thought was really good. So this is added to the list of like good. He's clearly not taking any old shit, is he? He's not gone, I'm going to be famous, I'm going to do everything. He's been quite careful in his choices. I really am looking forward to Running Man.
I was I was worried that with the kind of the best of Glenn Powell, he was going to get the Shia LaBeouf treatment where,
Yeah.
do you remember Steven Spielberg tried to impose Shia LaBeouf on us so much that everyone went, no, we're not going to have that.
Mm.
And I was worried because there was so much of a buzz around him that people would be like the tall poppy syndrome of like, you're telling us we should love this guy so much that we're not going to. But he's he could just be doing, he could be doing the dog shit that The Rock does, But he, as you say, he's making some really interesting choices, which is tough for someone that attractive. Like he belongs on a California beach.
Oh,
From the look
definitely.
of him.
Yeah. I mean, there are two. There are two very good-looking leads in this that they do a half-assed job of going. Nah, they're normal. They're normal-looking people.
Yeah,
They're just normal guys. They're not, are they? They're both very, very good-looking.
I know he's supposed to be a loser, but his haircut is abysmal in this. Like, and it's like they've tried so hard to be like, well, no, if this guy was your assistant, you'd be like, take my job. So they've had to give him the like most Lego hair loserish haircut.
Yeah, you can imagine the director speaking to hair and makeup, going, "I need you to make these two look sort of a bit. I need you to make her look a bit frazzled, and him look both frazzled and a bit like a loser." And then going, "What do you want me to do?" They're both in the gym every morning at 5 a.m. They've not seen a car for 10 years.
Make him homeless. What if he's homeless? Does this work?
But no, they look great. Chemistry's great. As I say, Glenn Powell's great. Zoe Dutch, I think, is brilliant. I don't think I'd seen her in anything before. And I think she carries a lot of this film with him. He's really likable, but she goes toe-to-toe with him in how likable she is. Obviously, she's a little bit younger than him, but she's really likable. She's really charming. She does do a good job. Obviously, we're joking about the way they look, but they both do a good job of playing the every man or every woman, and I thought that was pretty good in this.
Yeah, and it's also like neither of them are just afraid of their bosses for the sake of being afraid of their bosses. They're both acting with they have ambition, which is good. You can see it because a lot of jobs you would see something like this and be like, just quit, you idiot. But they can't. It's also that kind of investment fallacy of they've been working in that job for so long, which they play really well because they also somehow both do like really douchey things. Like she it's pretty much abusing that guy in the restaurant when she decides she's never ever going to spend a penny there.
Yeah, the guy with the money and the crisps.
Yeah, they do something really well with Glenn Powell, where he's abusive to one of the underlings, an intern, and then he apologizes straight away. He says something really over the top, and then he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that." Where it's like you can see Rick kind of rubbing off on him, but he's still a good guy underneath.
And yeah, like you said, they make a good point. Certainly, I think a bit more with Lucy Liu and Zoe Dutch's character than Glenn Powell's of like, no, this is why she wants to work here. They're not just like, it's not that they've got debts to pay, so they can't leave their job or anything like that. Whereas, yeah, they both go, because if you've not seen it, you should watch it. But Lucy Liu's character is like got a really successful sports magazine, and they make a point of Zoe Dutch's character saying, well, it's really hard as a woman to get into sports journalism, and I really look up to her, so that's why I work here. And and it's not hammered home, but you do go, yeah, no, that makes sense.
And that's why I thought you wouldn't like this film, because of your politics that you've discussed with me before. But no, it is. It's also, like you say, it's very honest, and like they don't look down the camera and go, but it is hard for a woman in the workplace because Lucy Liu doesn't allow herself to. You show her having a go at that coach. I don't know if that's a real person or.
I think it is,
because
I don't know.
She's saying that like the football leagues rip off the college students, which they do. Like it's disgusting how they treat college students. But also, that's relatable. It's not like an abstract concept that they're doing. Like they reference real events that have happened in the sports world, which kind of. And I think, don't they say that Rick invented Shark Tank as well?
Or he was on it or something. Like they basically make him like a really high flying but young investor.
Yeah.
Like on those two characters, Lucy Liu and Taye Diggs. I mean, you're in like horrible bosses territory of them just having a great time playing the villains, because they're not. Taye Diggs, again, without spoiling, Taye Diggs is more of a villain than Lucy Liu's character. They both get their chance to be quite arch, quite intimidating, quite out of order as well in places like that. And I thought that worked really well. They both, Lucy Liu's really good at playing villains. If you look at like Kill Bill and things like that, she always smashes it. But I thought they both look like they're having a good time with it.
Yeah, I think the film is smart in not having them both be villainous at the end, because Lucy Liu kind of pulls it back and she says, "I've only been mean to you because the world out there is going to be mean to you." And you're like, I don't really buy it, because I was like, yeah, you don't have to be a prick. You can change the world just externally, or just carry on having it work for you. There you go. That's the solution. I've only turned the heating off in the house because out there it's cold. Yeah, but I'm in the house, so why do we need to be cold? But I think the Tay Diggs is great in this to fully go for like, I'm going to be a massive arsehole, because sadly, people do associate actors with roles now to the point that it can stick with them. And this for me is like an iconic arsehole.
Yeah. It's up there with Alec Baldwin and Gary Glenn Ross.
Indefensible. Like the even at the start when he says, "I don't want any dinner," and then he goes, "Where's my dinner?" Yeah. I was like, punch him, Glenn Powell, punch him in the head. And they even give you that scene, and it's I thought about this because it pops up on Reels quite a bit. I don't know if you've seen the bit where what's his name from SNL? Is the gay housemate?
Oh, Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson comes in and says, "Does he still work for this guy?" No, and throws his copy against him. That pops up on Instagram Reels all the time with people like, "Imagine doing this to your boss."
Yeah, that's what in social media has become, though, isn't it? It's just people being like, he cooked. What are you talking? It's the plot of the film. What are you talking about? But yeah, no, it is more, and the more you look at stuff like that, the more you'll get like being like a clip of Captain America. He's like, he's running, and I know, yeah, it's what Captain America can do, isn't it?
I feel like you've got a lot of pent up rage about social media.
To be honest, if it wasn't for this podcast, I would not be on it.
Is this because our clips haven't been doing as well as you wish they would?
Yeah.
Right. Other things that I love about it, absolutely love. You touched on it, that they get the thing is, if you do a rom-com, it's make sure the comedy's good, and then it's easier to slot in, and we'll just make this seem romantic, than it is to do a full dreary romance and go, we'll have a funny scene here. Funny scenes and set pieces aren't as good as funny characters being in situations that are naturally funny to them. And like the film isn't afraid to, when you have the wedding speech or the engagement speech, it's a really nice, genuine. She like says, "These are all the horrible things that he does, but I still love him." And I think this is the one where it says, "You love someone, you like someone because, and you love someone despite."
Yeah.
Which I thought was really nice. So like, I love some women despite them blocking me on certain social media. That's the lesson I was taught from it, which is nice. Rachel
have you
Stevens,
still got the shadow ban?
Yeah, I'm not allowed to dress as a shadow anymore.
Great stuff, that.
Yeah, top. We're not changing the format or tone of the podcast at all now that it's just two lads. No, it should be fine. No, but do you know what I mean? Like and also this film knows it doesn't need to over-egg the romance. Like when they kiss at the end, this film knows that, as soon as they meet each other in the lobby at the start, it's like, we're going to get these people together. So don't worry about it. It doesn't overdo we knew that they'd have to have a problem or something that comes between them, and they get past it really quickly, which is good, because I think we've seen this 50 times.
Yeah, and they don't even do, this is what I mean when I said like they use the right cliches and they don't overdo them. Like they don't even do, one of them's got an arsehole boyfriend. They both have a partner, and it's almost quite, like you say, it's almost quite Seinfeld or even a little bit Sex and the City in that sort of, they're just not right for each other.
Yeah,
it's just the guy she's dating stops texting her back, and she sort of convinces herself it's because she went home with him, and he's with a girl, and it's just like, you two have nothing to talk about.
Yeah, and it's not even like he splashes drink in her face. He's like, "This isn't right, bye." And even that great joke of him putting his card down and going, "Get anything you want." He's like, "No, what you want to do it? No,
that's stupid." But no, it works, and it works well because of that. Like you say, it works because of the balance, and it works really well because of the chemistry, I think.
Yeah. And did you notice? So the in the baseball scene where they're willing them to kiss, and they're not kissing, and right before they do kiss, do you notice what Glenn Powell does?
Just press up or something.
He stands up and he starts doing angel wings to get them to kiss. So this possibly is an Angels in the Outfield sequel. I'm just saying
That's and that's definitely what they were intending to do.
I think it is, because Glenn Powell is wishing that they genuinely, he's wishing, he's doing his little hands.
For new listeners to the pod, Angels in the Outfield was a film Jamie chose last year. Still one of our lowest listened to episodes.
Is it genuinely?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, if you're listening to this, go listen to Angels in the Outfield, and then don't listen to iRobot. Okay.
Listen to iRobot, a film that we both agreed was good.
But yeah, so I don't mean to be stupid there, Josh, but yeah, it's there was actually we don't normally call that like individual jokes, but there was that baseball scene. There was a scene where it's the kiss cam and they're not kissing, and then it cuts to two guys kissing, and Glenn Powell starts booing because he wanted the others to kiss, and everyone around him was like, "What's wrong with you?" And it's like, "No," it's like, "No, for a different reason."
I'm booing for something else. and that's like a joke. I think that's, there are elements where you get that wrong even slightly.
Yeah. And
it does not look like it's well intentioned.
Yeah, but it's kind of because it's so throwaway as well, and because it's done with like I said, it feels very 2018 of like we've moved past people who would be uncomfortable, but like they probably would have people uncomfortable, but it would be accepted a kiss cam two men in a big sports event. Yeah. So the joke of there probably is people who would not like it, but our main guy is like, oh no. I just think it really lands well. It doesn't feel, some rom-coms you see and you're like, somebody wrote that in 1994 and they just dusted it off now.
The script's just been blacklisted and re-looked at and recycled and all that.
But this feels like a really modern script. Yeah. And I think that also, to touch on the premise, that the life of like the corporate CEO's assistant, it's not really that well documented in movies. They're normally the butt of a joke. They're normally, the idea is that they get treated like crap, and you can see some pratfalls like maybe a CEO that will throw something at them and you're like, oh, look at that, I hit him in the balls, or oh, look, someone's cut his tie,
Yeah, he spilled coffee all over himself, and now he's going to have to go and get more coffee.
And they'll do like a running joke of like, I didn't go home until 2 a.m. And everyone, the main cast is like, and you're like, you're putting someone like, really close to jumping in a river there. So I quite like that I think it's a concept or a premise that hasn't really been explored that much before.
Okay, so we'll move on to talking about the dislikes then. We'll decide if there's anything we'd change about Set It Up or anything we didn't like. I don't get the impression there's going to be loads and loads for this. I went first with the likes. Jamie, so do you want to go first with the dislikes? Is there anything? Is it that the personal assistants aren't treated unfairly enough?
I want to see some pratfalls and people fall downstairs. Hey, how good is physical humour with both of them as well? Both the leads.
Yeah,
Sorry, I don't want
great,
dislikes, but there's a bit where something gets thrown at Glenn Powell and you can see he does his own stunt falling on the floor, which it means he's taking away a job from stuntmen. So that's in the dislikes.
Yeah, because of union stuff. Yeah. No, yeah.
Well, I've already, like, the name is terrible. I think this, like, I even kept forgetting it myself. It's not, they could have just sat down and took a moment to,
It could even be called, like, they referenced the Parent Trap. It would even probably have got more sort of attention if they called it the Boss Trap or something like that.
Yeah, the Boss Trap, yeah. Well, Outbreak 2, just so people think it's a sequel to Outbreak. But
yeah, Angels in the Outfield 2, but it's about two adults at a baseball game.
Yeah, but it's such a nothing name for it. I bet when I told you about this, you probably looked at the poster and went, oh, what, this is going to be crap.
It's almost like it's been done by AI. Before AI was a big thing. It's just so generic.
And I know it's Netflix, so they don't really do proper posters, but that there's nothing really dynamic that's going into anything marketing this. They just put it out there and went, well, if the algorithm picks it up, great.
Yeah, and they'd probably put it as a banner somewhere around Valentine's Day or the algorithm probably pushed it up a little bit around certain times, but other than that,
and I think that's...
And also, won't have cost them loads as well. It's not like a, what's the one from earlier this year with Chris Pratt? Is it Electric State? That was like £1 billion
like
to make or something like that. And they went, yeah, well, it's not like that, is it? It's not like if we don't get a certain amount of subscribers off the back of this, we're going to be screwed. They've just got if people watch it, great.
But I feel like this might have found a little audience if it had been released theatrically in the right, because I'd say it's up there with Anyone But You. I know you've got that huge star power of Sydney Sweeney with Anyone But You.
Yeah.
But this has really, really great jokes, and the chemistry is great. I think this could have
I wouldn't say
survived
there's
a
much.
bit.
I wouldn't say there's much between the two. I would say, if anything, this might be slightly better. And there is, like you said, there is that star power, and obviously the thing with Anyone But You is it was a Shakespeare adaptation, and B, because it went to cinemas, there was the marketing push for it, where they were, this whole new thing of, basically the actors look like they're together in real life. That gets people to go and watch it.
Yeah, and he wasn't Glenn Powell when they made this, and he was Glenn Powell when they made
Exactly.
Anyone
It
But
was
You.
post Top Gun, and this is pre Top Gun. He's made The Dark Knight Rises, that very memorable role he has in The Dark Knight Rises, the very memorable role he's got in Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Oh wow, you really gone into it. But that, I mean, that I don't
no,
have much.
Spy Kids, one of them.
Also, did it hit you like the way it hit me, where they're talking about being stuck in a dead end job, and then he says he's 28, and I was like, oh Christ.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, 28. Is she 26 or 24?
Yeah,
and she's 22 in real life when she made it,
like,
or something.
They're like, my life is pretty much over. And I was like, fuck, I was searching for jobs at 31.
Yeah, and you're living in New York in a flat with one other person, which was mean it was you earning a fair wedge of money.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good job we're making our millions off this podcast now, but I mean, back then it was rough.
Exactly. Have
you got your Tesla coming through?
Not yet. No, I'm still waiting after the March. Right. So I'll get into what I thought then. So for me, there is that whole thing of I'm trying to normalize two very attractive people.
Yeah.
We've already touched on that. The only other thing for me is a few contrivances and cliches, but I didn't really mind that, because they've obviously gone with such a strong concept, and then you have a tendency with films like this to go really strong on the concept and then go, we're gonna have to write our way out of this into how does it stop being about the concept and start being about the characters, and how do we reach a resolution. So there's a little bit of that, and I think because of that, maybe 2/3 of the way through, there's a little lag in the pacing, but nothing. I'm talking 5 or 10 minutes, not like anything really boring or anything like. But no, overall, I really enjoyed it. I mean, is there anything else for you on the dislikes?
No, I can't really think of anything like that bad about it. I think, yeah, it's very funny. It's very romantic, which should suit kind of most of the 4 quadrants of people who are watching a movie. My main dislike is that it just didn't reach out to more people.
Because of the AI generated title and poster.
Yeah, I think Glenn Powell should start telling people to look back at his old films and be like,
I wonder if actors will ever come to that. Like, I'm surprised that didn't happen more in COVID, where they went, just actors go, well, go and watch this then.
Yeah.
Like when they stopped the football and they went, we like football, how about old football? Whether you already know what's going to happen.
Remember that match? Don't Google it. But
yeah. Don't worry about the views of the players from that World Cup. Just watch it. Okay, so let's move on to talking about the critical reception and the box office, and we will decide if it is or isn't underseen or underrated. Just to remind everyone, Jamie picked it because he thinks it's underseen, but we'll look at the ratings anyway. So it's not underrated. I mean, I personally would think this is a solid 7. Like, it's solid. I would watch this again. I thought it was pretty enjoyable. I probably enjoyed it more than like The Intern.
Wow.
Or something
okay, that's me leaving podcast.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, mate. Sorry. Anyway, it's solid. Really enjoyed it. I'd say it's probably a 7. So I'd say anything below that's pretty underrated. Underseen's a really hard one, like as we've said, because there's no box office, or if it even got a limited box office release, they make like 200 quid or something. So I would say it's probably underseen in that sense of, not only had I not heard of it, I don't know if I've ever seen it in my algorithm. Like, I've never seen it in any adverts or any streaming algorithm or anything like that. Let's have a look at the scores then. So we'll do the scores first, and we'll see if we can just figure out if we could decide if something on Netflix is unseen. So I say it's a solid 7. Just to remind people at home, we take the IMDb, the Rotten Tomatoes, both the Rotten Tomatoes scores, when we work out the average. I give it a pretty solid 7. What would you give it?
So I'd give this an 8, just because I feel like we always lower like genre films.
Yeah.
Because it feels like we're not allowed to go higher. Unless, I feel like the rom-com it needs that, you know, the what horror is going through now, where people are like, that's elevated horror. I feel like there's people are waiting for an elevated rom-com so that they can
we
kind
need
of
an
be like,
A24, but for an A24 to come along, but for just comedy.
Yeah. But okay, so it's, I personally would give this an 8, but I get it's having a 7. I see that because it's quite throwaway, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
It's but so IMDb, are you ready to do the maths on this?
Yeah,
Got
the old
I
calculator.
know this is your favorite bit, and you would never let me do it myself. IMDb, it's 6.5.
Okay.
Rotten Tomatoes audience, 69%.
Yeah.
And here's where my boys come through. Rotten Tomatoes critics, 92%. Yes, we
I mean,
did it.
that is that is quite mad. I mean, that averages out at 75% or 7.5 out of 10. But that 92% is doing quite a lot of the heavy lifting on that. So I would say that's pretty appropriately rated. What would you say?
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm not angry. I know sometimes I can fly off in a rage if one of my favorites.
Like when I pick iRobot again, revisit it. So I mean, Underseen, it's really hard to say. There's no box office. We don't know the streaming figures because they don't tend to release them. I guess the general consensus, and we can put a poll out when this comes out, is: have you heard of it?
Yeah, I think.
Have you seen it?
With streaming movies, it's just cultural impact, isn't it? You know.
Yeah.
Which is
nil for this.
The only thing that goes against that seems to be the Avatar movies, where it's like zero cultural impact made 5 billion. Everyone saw it.
You paid to watch it, even if you didn't know you paid to watch it.
I thought I was in the dentist.
Well, they say a lot of stuff is like, is the streaming stuff so high because people watch something and then fall asleep or go and tend to the kids or whatever, and something else plays after it, and what counts as a watch and things like that.
What are you choosing to put on next? And there's also that really grim thing of they're making scripts to be filmed kind of double screen now. They call it dual
so if you're on your phone. And I don't think this is one of them.
No.
And I think it shows as well. It's not for. It doesn't treat you like an idiot or like you're not paying attention as the person watching it. And I think it's all the better for that. Okay, let's say Underseen, appropriately rated. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm down with that, and I hopefully our audience will agree. If not, I'm leaving this podcast.
Again, every time he doesn't get his own way, he storms off.
Yeah.
There we go, another one in the bag. Set It Up. It was chosen because it's Underseen, and it is Underseen, which we've tried to figure out by talking about it because it's on Netflix. But yeah, check it out. I think there's definitely people out there who will like it like we both did. We'll be back next week with another episode. In the meantime, if you'd like to get in touch with us, it's filmsandthatpod@gmail.com. Feel free to suggest a film for us to cover. We're doing your list of suggestions every other episode, roughly. We're on social media as well. If you search for Just Films and That Pod on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram and YouTube, we're on there. Give us a follow. We're putting clips out, content out, videos out, things like that as much as we can. We're on Letterboxd as well, so if you want to give us a follow, the Letterboxd handle and all the other social medias, everything's in the show notes, as well as a link to Jamie's other podcast, which is Jamie's other podcast. It's called Best Movie 2. It's the best movie to watch in any given situation. Like, for example, if you are a frazzled personal assistant who is the best movie to watch if you're a frazzled personal assistant who's trying to get your boss off with another boss so that they will get off with each other and leave you alone, in which case probably be this, would it?
Working Girl, probably, actually.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, didn't think of that. But yes, there are links.
I was just thinking if we did this on mine, it'd probably be Working Girl or 9 to 5 that would recommend.
But anyway, there is links to that in the show notes as well. So give that a follow, give that a listen. I've been on about 110% of the episodes. So yeah, give that a follow. All that remains to be said is we'll see you next week for another episode. It's goodbye from me. Cheerio.
Bye.